Good evening. Tonight, I have 3 stories that I'd like to share with you. The first one is called A Day Off in Hell, and it begins like this. Hell is a room with 2 doors. The first shuts behind you as you step inside. It locks into frame, never to open again. The second door stands at the opposite wall, a solid, immovable barrier, its purpose unknown. As soon as both doors are closed, your torment commences. The room houses a single, unique punishment dealt out at the deft, sadistic hands of your custodian. You will scream. You will cry. And as you watch your wounds heal, just enough to keep the pain fresh, there will be nothing you'll want more than escape. Once you have endured 24 hours of this punishment, you are permitted a day off. The second door will swing open, revealing a bare, soft-lit room. At any time you wish, you can pick yourself up and shuffle unimpeded through the doorway and into the gray stone room. The space is featureless, except, as always, for 2 doors. As the door shuts behind you, your wounds will heal, your pain will subside, and for 24 hours, nothing will happen. There are no special comforts, but in the quiet absence of ceaseless torment, you drink every second like ambrosia. However, here's the thing. When your time is up, when the second door opens and you are pulled inside, you will be in a new room with a new tormentor, and importantly, your new punishment will be noticeably worse. Some take a while to notice the pattern. Some notice immediately, but just can't take the pain. They dash through the door as soon as it opens, eager for a day of peace. Those people have it the worst. They descend quickly beyond the realms of imaginable suffering, and their yearning for release will only make those 24 hours more inadequate. All of them will start to think of their earlier punishments almost fondly, lamenting that they ever stepped foot in the gray room, but unable to stop. But the real trick is played on those who learn restraint, those who realize the bone-rending torment they're undergoing is better than anything beyond the gray room. Their hearts break 1,000 times every moment they decide not to step into that next room. Their soul shatters the moment they decide they're going to stay in that room. Hell is a room with 2 doors. The first shuts behind you as you step inside. It locks into the frame, never to open again. The second door stands at the opposite wall, open and waiting, reminding you with every agonizing second that this is the hell that you chose. The second story is called If You Want Out of Hell, You Climb the Ladder, and it begins like this. Clara hadn't lived the most honest of lives, having cheated on her husband and her boyfriends, all 4 of them, and all at once. But despite her past, Clara was still surprised when she woke up in hell. Hell was a cold, dimly lit metal warehouse with a single person sitting at a desk in the back. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't make out what he looked like. When she began to approach, a voice started talking directly into her head.
Clara Dobell, damned to hell for 1,000 years for your sins of infidelity, deceit, desire, and more.
His voice reminded Clara of scraping metal, every word spoken violating her ears.
Do you accept damnation, or will you climb the ladder?
Clara didn't expect a choice, so she asked, "What's the ladder?"
The ladder to heaven. Should you choose to make the climb, an opportunity to reach heaven's gates presents itself to you. Should you fail, you shall fall back down to hell. Decide now.
"I'll climb. Where do I?" Her surroundings vanished, and she found herself in front of a humble suburban home. A small child opened the door and stepped outside, his scrawny arms straining to hold up a garbage bag.
Murder the child to progress on the ladder.
Clara now noticed that she held a knife in her hand. She hesitated, as anyone would. Why would murder get her into heaven?
Do it now.
Clara had no time to think. She walked over to the child, whose eyes went wide as he saw the knife in her hands. After a minute of gurgling noises from the body, there was silence. Her vision changed again, this time in front of a sleeping homeless man. The voice commanded again.
Take his life and strip the skin from his corpse.
Clara did as she was told. Clara lost count of how many times she climbed. 1,000? Maybe 10,000. She heard the voice once more.
Congratulations, Clara Dobell. You have reached the end of the divine ladder.
A golden door appeared in front of her. Her lips shook. She reached slowly for the door, cherishing the moment she entered. Her feet touched the cold metal floor, her eyes wandering around the familiar warehouse.
Clara Dobell, deceased, age 38, cause of death, heart attack, damned to hell for eternity, for your sins of murder, desecration of the dead, human sacrifice, and far, far more.
She looked towards the man at the desk. His head was shaped like a goat, wicked horns protruding from the sides, and complex tattoos cover his naked body. "What about heaven? Why am I back here if I—" Clara choked on the dread in her throat. The goat man cocked his head.
Heaven? What made you think you were going there when you were climbing down?
He disappeared from her sight.
Clara Dobell, welcome to the bottom of hell.
The final story is called Light at the End of Hell, and it begins like this. Many imagine hell like a fiery inferno, with rocks, lava, and Satan's demons. Truth be told, it's not like that at all. Not the hell I'm in. There's no screaming, no cries for mercy, no angry God smiting the sinners, just a field and a hole. When I died, I woke up in a field of flowers. No bees or butterflies, just an assortment of brightly colored flowers littering what seemed to be earth as far as the eye could see. I got up, feeling the sun on my face. I knew I had died in that prison. The blood I lost was regained in the afterlife. I could feel my heart beating in my chest. I wasn't a ghost, but flesh again. Amongst the never-ending field of flowers was a hole, a large hole, miles wide, which sunk to never-ending depths. At the bottom was a bright light, a burning light. The end. I ran as far as the eye could see from that hole. I knew it led to the inferno I had been warned about as a child. I ran for years, decades. I didn't tire, and the flowers never ended. I tried to kill myself again. The blood splattered from my self-inflicted wounds endlessly until the wounds would close up again. As millenniums passed by, I started to recognize every one of the millions of species of flowers on the entire hellscape. As time passed, the horror dawned on me that I would get to know every petal on every flower. I was stuck here for eternity. As billions of years passed by, I looked for the hole again. God played a sick joke on me. The hole was death, ending. I had chosen eternity in a fate far worse than death. I cried and wept, and I went from cursing God to begging for mercy. Eternity went by, and every day repeated. Every pattern of days, every week and month, every thought my brain could think was of an old memory from millions of years ago when I had first thought it. I was practically omniscient in this hell. Is this what God feels? Knowing everything that will happen and has happened? Is this a cruel way for us to relate to Him? I didn't even know if I had ever lived on Earth. Was there even another life before this one? Or was this the only one? Eventually, though, I found the pit in the ground. I ran to it and threw myself in. I saw the light at the bottom of the pit, the light of hell. As I felt my heart pound and my eyes weep with joy, every stimulus would finally come to an end. Every pattern, every damn thought. I would fall into the flames and end. But it never came. I forever stared into the light at the end of the tunnel. If you enjoyed these stories, feel free to give this video a like. And if you're interested in more stories like this, please, by all means, subscribe. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.